Hey folks, it's your pal Mike Shea from slyflourish.com and twitter.com/slyflourish. Here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy DM Prep. This is a weekly show in which I go through the steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my weekly game. In this case, it is I'm running Waterdeep Dragon Heist. This stream and video is given to you today by the fine patrons of Sly Flourish at patreon.com/slyflourish. You can see the link below if you would like to help support the show and the website and the tweets and everything else that's going on in the Sly Flourish world. That is the place to do it. And I thank the fine backers on Patreon, on the fine sponsors on Patreon for helping out with everything. I have two guest hosts today. You may see them. They're here. They're just wandering about. I have Maliki and Carson. And they are both running around the room today, so they may pop up over there from time to time if you're lucky, if we're all lucky. I am running a Kickstarter right now. I am running a Kickstarter for a new book of 10 adventures called Fantastic Adventures: Ruins of the Grendelroot. You will be able to see links for that Kickstarter below as well. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, I will be back here on Twitch talking about that Kickstarter and talking about the book and giving all kinds of spoilers and answering any questions that any people have about it. So if you'd like to hear more about that book, you can join me live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific here on Twitch. Or you can watch the video afterwards. It will be broadcast to YouTube just like this one. I don't know what's going on with my hair today. I'm sorry. I guess if I go like that certainly doesn't help, does it? No, that didn't help. Weird hair day today. Humid in the house. Humid in general. So that will be going on. So I won't be talking about Ruins of the Grendelroot and how awesome it is until later today. Today we will be talking about my Waterdeep Dragon Heist game. If you are here, say hello in chat. It looks like we've got Rex Verdi is here. And Von Corellin and my mom. Everyone say hello to my mom. She's watching. She watches every Sunday. Dyson 187 is here. Cherokee. Wow, everybody's here. Gondolar is here. Yay, great. So let's get started. In my last session, the characters were preparing to raid the Cassalanter's villa. If you recall, in my iteration, my running of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, the Stone of Galore, they got away from the characters and ended up in the hands of the Cassalanters. The Cassalanters are a couple of very rich nobles who are also happen to be worshippers of Asmodeus. They used to be worshippers of Tiamat, but lost all of their money, and then they switched over to Asmodeus, and then made a bargain and bargained the souls of their 3 children for riches and received those riches and then lost the first of their children's souls. And now in my version of the game, they are freaking out and want to, I guess this is actually in the book too, they want to save the souls of their remaining 2 children. In the book, however, they're doing so by killing 100 other people. And in my version of the game, they are doing it by trying to get a hold of the money so that they can pay Asmodeus back. And that is kind of the main story arc going on at this point. So we had a really interesting session. They had a map of the villa already. Let's see, I'll pull that up here. So they knew about a lot of it. Scrolling. Open a new tab. So they had this whole map of the villa already. They didn't have all the location descriptions. They had the player version of the map. Let me get that open. They had this version. So they knew what the layout was like, and they knew that there was a cellar, but they didn't know, for example, that underneath the cellar is an entire temple to Asmodeus. And they knew that there was a big summer festival going on at the villa. So they spent this is always a tricky bit, right? Like I love these sort of heist style adventures where you give a location, a general location, and you put some situations going on in that location. I talked a lot about this. Scrolling. Keep those screens a scrolling. Yep. Navy DM. Nice to see you. So, I love to have these. I talked about this a lot in the last episode. If you want to hear a lot about like how to, not how to run, but how I love and how I run heist style games. That I talked a lot about it in the last couple of episodes, so I'm not really going to reiterate it all here, except you have an overall area and you have a situation going on in that area, and you have lots of ways that the characters can get involved. One tricky bit with this, however, is over planning. Players, you can give all of these variables to the players and they can see it. They're like, okay, so there's a group of people who catered the party, so we can infiltrate through those caterers. There are guards on the outside and guards on the inside. There's a well in the center of the place, and the well is connected to the sewer system of Waterdeep, so we might be able to get in through the well. You've got people that have all kinds of spells and other tricks. One thing that I did is that the gates were protected by an anti-magic, like an anti-magic, like an anti-magic spell. So anybody that tried to walk through with any sort of illusion or polymorphed or anything like that would get returned back into their original form. So our warlock, for example, sent in his imp as a rat, and as soon as it went through, it turned back into an imp, and he had to kind of like quickly fly out before anybody saw him. So that way they saw like, okay, so we can't change ourselves. But they knew that going in through the sewers, you didn't have that problem. They didn't protect the sewers. So one thing is, like, if you were actually the Cassallanters, you'd probably be smarter about protecting your villa, and you'd probably know about the well and the sewers. But you want to give some hooks to make it not too crazy. Like, your goal isn't to completely subvert every possible attempt. You want to have interesting ways that the characters can break in. So having the well unprotected while the rest of it was protected is good. And sometimes you have to improvise all this. Like, I didn't really plan out the well and everything like that. I kind of had to play it by ear. Luckily, thanks to the Lazy DM workbook, I had a map of the sewer system ready to go as well, and I could put that right next to all this stuff. So that worked out really well. So the one trick is over planning. You got 5 or 6 people. We had 5 people at the last game, and there's a lot of people that have like lots of different ideas, and there isn't really a clear leader to the group. And, they had some good ideas, but they were like, well, we're going to try a few different things. So like the rogue was going to, he kind of got in with the catering group and snuck in with the catering group. And during the catering group thing, he found out that, the Cassalanters, their manservant, their head butler, is actually also a Asmodeus cultist who thinks that they are losing their faith. And the Cassalanters are losing their faith. So he is the one that's actually going to try to sacrifice everyone at the party. And he's going to poison this, crazy chip dip that he made. He is going to poison it all and kill all the people there. And the rogue character figured this out. This is not Arjon. The names are... Everybody has a name that starts with A. That doesn't help me. Agarin. So Agarin... Agarin now... figured out that they were poisoning him. So now they got this whole other subplot, which is, wow, the butler's actually trying to poison everybody here, and we're actually trying to steal the Stone of Galore. Now we got multiple problems, right? And they figured this out after they got in there. But one trick is to kind of, you kind of have to keep the planning moving, right? You got to make sure that your people aren't getting stuck in a rut, and you kind of reiterate what you hear. So you're like, okay, so it sounds like, you don't want to overdo it, but you're like, it sounds like you 3 are going to use that crazy spell that makes all of you look a certain way, and you're going to look like guards, and you're going to sneak in through the well, but then try to mingle in as guards. And then you're going to break in looking like a person from the catering group, but as soon as you get in, you're going to switch disguises and turn into one of the people that's handing out wine and food. And then you are going to go through the well, but you're going to be invisible, and you're going to try to sneak around invisibly and figure out where things are. And the thing is, they didn't know where the stone was. They had to kind of figure that out. And I think did they know it was in the sewers? I don't know how they found out it was or not in the sewers, but in the lower reaches. But I think they did, because they were using like detection spells, and they could feel that there was like a hole, and it was low. They knew it was down. They're like, wow, okay, so it's not in the upper floors, it's in the lower floor. I moved it I wanted them to go to that Asmodeus temple, so I put that Stone of Galore in there. So it was fun, and it was crazy, and a lot of stuff happened. They immediately ran, like as soon as they crawl out of the well, they stand there, and there are the 2 Cassalanter kids who are like, why are you guards crawling around the well? And they're like, we're killing rats. And the kid's like, I want to see a dead rat. And then he shows a polymorphed version of a rat, and he's like, ew, and so there was a lot of fun there. And then they ran into the Cassalanters themselves, Lady Cassalanter herself, and meanwhile the rogue is doing stuff. So it was a lot of like switching scenes back and forth, and eventually they found out that the guards inside the compound are actually all bearded devils. What are you guys doing down there? You can like unplug all my computers. What are you doing? Cats are always getting everything. So yeah, they found out that the internal guards were all bearded devils, bone devils. Oof. And so they actually got into a fight with a bone devil right at the cellar door. Like a bunch of stuff all happened right at the cellar door, and they got involved right there. And that's when things started going bad. Meanwhile, the Open Lord of Waterdeep showed up to the party, and she was about to eat this poison dip, and the rogue stopped her, like tripped her and knocked the food out of her hand, and then secretly told one of the guards using a thieves' canty kind of thing that, hey, the food's poisoned. And that started a whole big chaos and arrest up top. Meanwhile, the party's going down to the Temple of Asmodeus while everything's exploding upstairs. Really kind of cool. Tilda DeWilda asks if we have foster kitties. We do not. Let's see if I can get the cats to come up here. Come up, kitties. There we go. There's Maliki. Hello, Maliki. Come on up. No, don't call me. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, there's Maliki. This is Maliki. We have adopted both Maliki and Carson. We have another cat around here named Carson. I don't know where Carson went. But that's Maliki. Maliki is a black short hair cat. She likes to kind of be on her own. She entertains herself. She'll accept a pat now and then, but not totally pat. And the other one is Carson. Carson wants to lie on your head all the time. Carson is, we thought was a short hair, and it turns out that he's like a medium to long hair. And we have allergy issues in the house. So hopefully that will work its way out. But we're going to the doctor on Monday to see what we can do about allergies. And if not, it might end up being kind of like a foster cat. So we'll see how that turns out. Hoping everything works out. Carson's a sweetie. They also beat up on each other all the time. And we're not sure that's going to play out when they get older. So figuring things out. Anyway, so they made their way down into the Temple of Asmodeus. Scrolling. Here's the Temple of Asmodeus. We'll bring that up. And the Temple of Asmodeus, that looks good, right? Does that show up? Yeah. So that's all underneath the Cassalanter's villa. And they made their way down there and saw that it's a couple of layers deep. It's got 2 or 3 floors. And they started sneaking around on the upper balcony. On this upper part of the map. They found a guy who was a prisoner down there and kind of learned some things from the prisoner. And there's this whole little secret room down in the lower left, which is actually going to be where the first son, the eldest son, who is now, we have a picture of the eldest son now. Scrolling. That is the eldest son currently. He got turned into a chain devil. Chain devils are really nasty, so they're gonna have to. They may fight. Oh, and the Stone of Galore is chained to the chain devil. So that's how Lady Cassalanter is protecting the stone by chaining it to the chain devil, and only she is able to talk to the chain devil without the chain devil ripping people to shreds. So it's a good way to defend. Yeah, He's Not Your Problem says that the temple is 3 times bigger than the house. I think the temple was actually there before the house was, so yeah, it could be. And in D&D, you can build an infinite layer of, think about all Waterdeep is sitting on top of a, infinitely big dungeon. So amazing there's not a collapse and half the city falls apart. That's the fun of D&D. A wizard did it. I did have a secret and clue from last week about the fact that a whole lot of material was excavated underneath the Cassalanter's villa, way more than they needed to actually build a house. So that worked out. So they were walking out on this balcony, and the balcony collapsed, and now the rogue fell into a big service to Asmodeus going on inside the temple itself. Why are the Cassalanters sitting on the stone and not using it to retrieve the dragons directly? They planned to, but they had the big party coming up. So their goal was to sort of, they want to be able to take it and not have everybody in the world know that they're doing it. And so the reality is, so the PCs can break in and take it, of course. But so you got to come up with a reason why it makes sense. And why it makes sense is they're just not ready to do it right now. They're getting everything ready, but they have to have this party first. Once the party is done, then they'll be ready to kind of focus their attention. But part of it is they know how much attention is on this stone. They know that the Blackstaff is involved. They know that the Xanathars, they got all kinds of people in there. So we're just going to take it. It can't be detected. So we're going to hold it up here. It passed through like 15 hands, and everything should be set. So they're letting the dust settle, and that's why it's there. But they don't know that the characters are coming to take it. They probably know now, because now the whole party went in a bad way. So One thing I decided to do, because I like to do it every so often, is I built a nice Dwarven Forge setup. You know, you can't help but build a nice Dwarven Forge setup for. I thought I sent myself a note. How come that didn't get sent? Here we go. Let's download that. Show in folder. And drag that over. Let's see. How do I keep that one? New tab. So this was my. This isn't really how it's going to be. This is. I was playing around with the Dwarven Forge stuff. I got a new set. I got this kind of cool, some cool new pieces, and I thought, it'd be kind of fun to use my new pieces for the area. So so this was a area that I built out. It is 5 terrain trays worth of stuff, 2 small ones and 3 big ones. And the idea, if you look in this upper balcony in the upper right, that's where the rogue fell down. So right now I've got cultists up there. I was just sort of playing around, but that's not what it's going to look like. I threw like every miniature I had, and I'm like, let's fill it with cultists. I put cultists everywhere and lots of light up stuff. And I'm taking away the snake idol and replacing it with a devil, because it doesn't make sense to have a big snake idol. So we'll figure that out. But this little side room here is where, look, I even have a Chain Devil mini. So 4 cultists are in there. There's like this rune of protection that's sort of binding the Chain Devil to this room. And the Chain Devil around his neck has has the Stone of Galore. And there probably will be some cultists keeping him company and that they can deal with. Maybe. We'll see. I have to figure out like how fights and everything go. And I put like the Lord and Lady Cassalanter in here, but again, I was just sort of playing around. I don't think that's how it's going to play out. So I thought that was a cool setup. The nice thing about that whole setup is it fits inside of a single 19-liter. Is it 19 liter? It might be smaller than that. 11 liter. They have these things called really, really useful boxes, which are like big Tupperware containers with handles. And there's one that's just about 4 inches high, and then 12 by 16 or something like that, 12 inches by 16 inches. And it fits all of this stuff perfectly, right? Like I can fit all of this into one box and take it with me to the game shop, and it keeps it in place. So I can just set up this whole thing in about 5 minutes, probably under 5 minutes. I could have this whole place set up and on the table. And that's going to be cool. People kind of like it when I whip this stuff out. So I thought that'd be fun. I don't do it very often. Usually I'm doing Theater of the Mind stuff. What else? There was some other thing I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember. So let's go to our game notes. Let's switch over. We're going to go to our game notes here. So as we do, let's take a look at our character. Oh, we have a new character. Oh, crap. So we have a, her name is Juliet, is the new player. And she is playing I don't know it's a wizard. She's a wizard that works for the Grey Hands. I know that much. And her archetype is Cole from Deadwood, from True Detective. Really great character. So Juliet is a DM and player that I met yesterday at All-Star Comic-Con when I was running a playtest for Fantastic Adventures Ruins of the Grendelroot, which is live on Kickstarter right now. Link is below. And she was awesome, and she had mentioned that she was looking for more D&D games, and I said she would be great for this group. So I talked to her yesterday, and she is coming to try it out at our Dragon Heist game today, and if she sticks around, she will be joining our Saltmarsh game, which is coming out soon. So that'll be fun. So Juliet is the character whose name I don't have yet. I don't think she sent me a name yet. Let me make sure. I don't know the name yet. She didn't give me the name, so I'll have to write that name later. So that's cool. And in this one, I know that John the Grizzled is out for this game. He won't be there. So we have Lord Anton Greycastle, human Battlemaster Fighter, Waterdhavian Noble, dealt with the shipping docks and Luskan ships, and is Yagra's special man friend. Family is a rival of Zardoz Zord, and he has now a magic sword. Hey, that rhymes. Banjo Wilkerson, Tiefling Bard, came from the Outer Ward and now is carrying a magical banjo that he uses. He's a stitch. Aranis is a drow, Pact of the Fiend warlock, and he is a bonded to a devil named Izikul, who collects proteges for Asmodeus, and he now has a Rod of the Packkeeper. Agarin is a human rogue investigator, former member of the City Watch. He's too old for this shit, and he got kicked out of the City Watch, but not really. He stole a draconic chamber pot, and he secretly works for the Black Staff. And the item I want him to get a hold of is Urstel Floxen's acidic crossbow. I'd love for him to be able to. He should have that by now. It's kind of sad that he doesn't have it by now. Maybe Urstel Floxen needs to kind of stop them. So we'll see how that works out. So those are the characters. The strong start. It's, I love it when strong starts kind of build themselves. And in this case it does, because Agarin fell into a, what is it called? Fell into a service to Asmodeus and a room full of cultists. So that's pretty cool. I think that's how that's going to start. Scenes, all I know is I need to do, and this is something I want to spend a good deal of time on today. Where are all the cats? One of the things that I want to spend some time on today is figuring out the plot of the devils. There's at least 3 devils that are involved, or at least 2, but 3 if you include Asmodeus himself, that are sort of involved in this situation, and they want different things. And the interesting thing about devil plots is you don't always know what they are, and they're really long and they're really intricate. And so it's possible that as mortals you just don't know why the devils are doing what they're doing, but it's not without purpose. And I just want to kind of figure that out, because I'd like to do some fun stuff with Aranis and the Fiend stuff, and the Cassalanters and their desire to save their kids, and what does Asmodeus want, and what is he willing to accept. So I think devil stuff. We want to introduce the wizard. The Midsummer Festival, that all happened. So that's all good. Secrets. So why don't we? Wow, look at all those secrets. You know what? We're gonna dump these. That's too many secrets, and we're gonna come up with some new ones today. NPCs. We'll keep the list of NPCs around. You generally don't want to throw away. Oh, we're still gonna use that bardic harp, or the wind's harp. That would be cool. So we have cultists. We have cult fanatics. We have priests. We have the Cassalanters. Monsters are easy. We have a chain devil. What else do we have? The Wind's Harp and Ink Devil. I don't know about an Ink Devil. I'll probably dump that. Is there any treasure? I would really love to. Urstel Floxen's Black Dragon Acidic Hand Crossbow +1. How's that for an item, right? Hello, here's the other kitty. This is Carson. Carson's a big sweetie. Says, I'm gonna lick your fingers. Carson might hang out there for a little while. We'll see. The cats got along, by the way. Last time we were keeping them separated. We have since introduced the 2 of them, and they get along for the most part. Like, you'll come home and they'll be like lying on top of each other on top of their cat perch, which is awesome. But then sometimes they just beat the crap out of each other. So it's really a strange relationship between the 2 of them. See, watch now you're gonna see like Ultimate Fighting Championship up there. I don't know. We'll see. I might have to break. Yeah. See, look, and then there's instigators, right? Look at that. Cats. I'd really love to get that crossbow into the hands. I'd like to figure out how to do that. She protect, he attack, yeah. Well, kind of, except like the weird bit is, oh no, they're down. They both jump down. They're both instigators. They both go after one another. Like it's not like one picks on the other. Sometimes you look and you're like, one's picking on the other, and then you separate them, and the other one walks right back over and bops them, and you're like, what are you doing? So cats, who can figure them out? So we're keeping our NPCs. The NPCs that matter here. Mostly I'm just keeping the names. Sammy the foul-mouthed unicorn. That was pretty great. I have the unicorn kind of ride in. Leaf the bartender. Custard Goldstrife. Sarah Dirthands. Agent of Brigandiarth and Jarlaxle. Aaron, I don't remember who Aaron is. Williford Crowley is the Cassalanter valet, and he is a doppelganger. And he got away. Big Bones and Jenna, the two kids that robbed the carriage. Top Hat, Cambion bodyguard. Yeah, he's still around. So I got a lot of villains going on here. All right, so we know what the strong start is. The scenes, the only thing I know is that I want to do some stuff with the devils and try to figure out that. So, and maybe these are going to kind of make their way out in the secrets. Oh my, I'm sinking down in my chair. That's too low. Shouldn't mess with your camera when you're live on the air. Sorry. So I shouldn't sink down in my chair anyway. Sit up like an adult. Yeah. So secrets and clues. All right. So what do people want? So I think it's almost like there could be two devils that are working against each other, right? Like Asmodeus and Mephistopheles don't really get along, right? And they might just be kind of screwing with each other. And I think the interesting bit, I'd kind of like to tie this into Avernus, into Descent into Avernus, by saying that this whole thing really revolves around 3 soul coins. They just want soul coins. But Mephistopheles and Asmodeus are maybe working against one another. Let's go to D&D Beyond, and let's bring up. Let's go to Mordenkainen's. Mordenkainen's has a lot of info on Asmodeus and Mephistopheles. These are demons. I don't want demons. That's a great picture. Look, I have rock. Where are the devils? Lords of the Nine. All right. So, Asmodeus and Mephistopheles rule over the top layers. He wants to rule the cosmos. He also believes that he is the only being that's actually keeping the demons from overrunning the world. Is there a thing about soul coins in here? Did I just see a thing about coins? Yeah, Coin Legion. I don't suppose that's about soul coins. Beelzebul. Mephistopheles. I think it is. Is he the one that's just doing constant experiments? Yeah, he's the one that's constantly doing these crazy experiments. I mean, I don't suppose anyone's going to care. I'd like to stay a little bit close to the lore, and say that maybe, I mean, all of the devils do these dealings, right? So maybe his thought is like, maybe the real secret is that he is, So maybe the real secret is that the and that Isakul man, spelling Mephistopheles all the time is a pain in the butt. It's a long ass name. She's devil lords had smaller names like Jack. Isakul doesn't work for Asmodeus, but works for Mephistopheles. That would be kind of interesting. Mephistopheles is trying to get souls. Mephistopheles, which we abbreviate as M. I have it in the buffer. Hello, kitties. Have you decided to crawl on the desk? Hello. There's a kitty. Hello, kitty. Kitty transplant. Here's the other kitty. She doesn't like to be picked up as much. Come over here. Come over here to be picked up. She's like, nope. Mephistopheles conducts centuries-long experiments in Stygia. Oh, Cania, right? Mephistopheles is in Cania. They have to descend and foil Diablo. You can include Baal. It would be amazing to tie. Yeah, Snark Knight's like, it would be amazing to tie this into the other one. The problem is I don't have the other adventure, so I don't know how to. I don't know exactly. I know that the adventure all takes place on Avernus, the first layer of hell, and now I'm talking about two devils that work on the 9th layer of hell. Oh, what is that? Freak me out. You're a cutie. What are you doing? What's your plan? You gonna crawl over there? Kitty transplant. Whoops. That was kind of a neat thing to see, I'm sure. So I don't know how tightly this will be tied. But I think so. Coster is a rival of Isakul. And so what do they want? So which one of them? So Isakul, so Coster Goldstrafe actually works for Asmodeus, and Asmodeus wants the souls of the children. Is it Fight Club over there? Yeah, Mike Shea, Cat Furniture. That is, as far as they're concerned, that is how it works. Let's see. So what do each of them want? What does Asmodeus want when it comes? I mean, like, Asmodeus probably spends 0.001% of his attention. Not even. Like, he doesn't care, right? So it's really like he sent out agents. He's a busy guy. He's doing stuff. They're both doing stuff. Mephistopheles and Asmodeus are doing stuff. So Mephistopheles says, hey, Isakul, your job is to go find me new promising spellcasters. That's what I want. So Isakul... So he actually wants the souls of the Cassalanters, or he will, or he'll accept Uranus. And Isakul works for Mephistopheles, and that's because he's looking for mages. Asmodeus, he prefers innocence over magical power. He wants the kids. He also doesn't want the gold. Neither of them What will they do with gold? They don't care about gold. So that makes sense, right? And that means that you have Koster. Koster wants the characters to get the souls of the children. And Isakul wants the souls of the Cassalanters. And somehow they're going to have to find all this out. And the Cassalanters, they want their children's... Cassalanters want the children's soul back. Are they willing to give up their own? But there needs to be 3. They promised 3 souls. Thus, Uranus. I kind of want to put Uranus in a tough spot where he's like, do I have to give my soul up to the devils? I mean, he already is and he might say, sure. We'll find out. So that's a lot of the devil stuff. What other secrets are going on? Where is Floxen right now? Floxen, is he at the party? He probably saw the chaos at the party. And he's probably... So he doesn't have any idea that he's going to take 500,000 gold, but he's like, maybe I'll go get 50,000 and get the hell out of here. So he's going to try to grab the stone while all this is going on. So maybe they'll be like on their way out. They'll face Floxen. I think that Top Hat and Craddock, not Craddock, what's his name? Crowley. And they are working for Asmodeus. Whoops. Asmodeus and Goldstrife. Koster Goldstrife. Hey, cut it out, you two. You guys be good. Flop. Start to hiss at each other. What else? That's pretty solid, isn't it? I don't know. I got a lot going on there. What other, you guys in chat, given all this nonsense that I've been talking about, do you see any other kind of cool things going on? I mean, I feel like I got a pretty solid game going here. I have a tendency of building encounters on the fly. We could play around just for fun. Let's go to the D&D Beyond, the encounter builder. And we will... Cultist. Fanatic. Priest. What else we got? Cambion. Assassin. Chain Devil. Spine Devil. Bearded Devil. Victorio Cassalanter. And Amalia Cassalanter. Whoops. So we say Temple to Asmodeus. Save the encounter. I have apparently created a 13,675 encounter with only one of each of these. So I guess there's like different ways to use the encounter builder, right? And I tend to not worry so much about how many monsters I'm going to throw in. I'm not building it like encounter by encounter, because I'm going to there'll probably be 15 cultists in there, right? There's a lot of cultists in there. There's only the one chain devil. There might be a couple of spine devils, maybe a bearded devil. I don't even know. Hello again. What are you doing? Was the cat chasing its own tail? I didn't even look. They're all a bit fired up. So, one interesting way to use the encounter builder, I think, could be that it's you just kind of have a list of all your creatures. So then you can just sort of pop in and look at a creature and be like, oh, they didn't link the... That's a little too bad that the links are... I guess you can view the details page here. And that has it. Guiding Bolt. Guiding Bolt is really good. I'll tell you. Guiding Bolt, highly underrated spell. I mean, maybe it's not underrated. Maybe everybody knows it's really badass. But I don't see a lot of priests use it. And it is really, really good. 4d6 damage on a hit at level 1. Level 1. And gives advantage to the next target, which means like your rogue can do it. Like you can really set things up like a priest is going to blast stuff. Like the rogue says, the monster's on its own. I'm going to pull out my hand crossbow and aim at it. And when the priest hits it with Guiding Bolt, I'm going to hit it next. And then priest goes, bang, Guiding Bolt. Now it's got advantage. Rogue hits it, sneak attack. You do some really great combos with Guiding Bolt. Evil John says, Guiding Bolt makes my wizard jealous. Yeah, I mean, Magic Missile's pretty great, and Burning Hands is pretty great. There's a lot of good, like, damage spells. The thing about this one is you have to hit with it. But if you think about, like, a 3D... Was it 3d4 plus 1? 3d4 plus 3 for Magic Missile. So the average on this is 14 points of radiant damage on a hit, but you have to hit. The average on Magic Missile is... math is hard. 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8. 8 points. So I guess it's pretty significantly less. But it's auto hit, and you can split them up among different targets. So I don't know. But this, yeah, it's a lot of damage. 4d6 is a lot of damage for like a single target blast. It's really good. It's not broken. I'm not saying it's broken. I'm just saying like it doesn't get used nearly as much. And I will tell you that one neat thing about Guiding Bolt is it's a great spell to reflavor with evil priests. So when you have like Asmodeus priests, they can like fire these like hellfire lances, Same with Spirit Guardians. Like when Spirit Guardian, I wish they did more of this in D&D actually. That like, and you can do it anyway, but it's like they didn't quite describe it of like, describe what your own sacred flame looks like. Describe when the big one is Spirit Weapon. Everybody knows that Spirit Weapon, you get to decide what kind of weapon it looks like, and the same with Spirit Guardians. So you get to decide what Spirit Guardians looks like. But all the spells are that way, really. Like, what does your fireball look like? Why is it different? Mine looks like dragons roaring around, breathing fire on people, or mine looks like just a white blast, or mine looks like hands, reaching up, flaming hands reaching up from the ground. Like all these spells can be different. You don't have to, like what you would think spellcasters can create all kinds of magic that look different than everything else. Let's see. Victorio's badass, if I recall. Look at his stuff. I don't know where Victorio is. I think Victorio is not there. So my plan is that they're going to deal with a lot of cultists down in the basement. Let's get back to scenes here for a second. They're going to fight cultists and devils in the basement. It's going to be a great big fight down there. They're going to meet the new wizard. Then they're going to get it from the son. What's the son's name? Osvaldo. They got to get the stone of Golor from Osvaldo the Chain Devil. Then I think Lady Cassalanter is going to show up. I thought I had her on here. Didn't I add her? Yeah. There she is. Amalia, right? So this is some interesting bits after they sort of, you know, fight tons of cultists, and then they get out, and then they'll actually meet around Amalia, and she'll just say, "I don't want to fight you anymore, but I want to save my children." I think she'll show up before they kill the Chain Devil. You know, they have this big fight with the Chain Devil, and then before they manage to kill the Chain Devil. I got a lot of parents in this group, but they're pretty hardcore, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like purposely tug on heartstrings, but I do want something more than just like, we're all evil here, and you just blow them away and then get the stone and go get the gold. Like, it wants to be like, you know, you can save all of us if you give that gold back to Asmodeus and cancel the contract. Then nothing is, then everything is solid. Or, oh, I just spilled coffee all over my mouse. Shit. I was trying to shake my coffee up and didn't realize my lid was open. Don't close anything. You want some interesting choices, right? And I think like some of these interesting choices, this is going to be a pretty pinnacle game, because the rest of this is go down there and get the gold. But to do what? And to give it to who? Right? Like that's... she could always fireball them. That's right, she could. But I don't want her to fireball them, right? I want like... And I'm thinking, oh crap, what did I just do? There we go. I'm trying to clean my stupid mouse because I spilled coffee on it. That's weird. Huh, my little side button switched windows. Who knew? 5-button mice. Now this is covered in coffee. I just want interesting choices, right? We want to put these kind of interesting choices, you know, close to the end of the game. And I have a feeling we're pretty close, because at this point they're like going to get the stone. So maybe they meet... maybe they meet Erstal Floxen. Maybe he comes. I think Erstal Floxen is going to go hunt the party down after this. Along with Top Hat and Crowley. That would be kind of fun. Crowley is probably a spellcaster. He's probably a mage. Boy, I'm going to beat the crap out of these poor characters. Oh, my cats are running around upstairs. And a mage. I mean, it seems like this is kind of a nice way to use the encounter builder, right? It's like, now I've got this list of all... Did the mage show up on here? How come the mage isn't on there? I just added the mage. Am I missing something? Did I not do it right? Yeah, it added the difficulty. That's weird. It wasn't there before. Let's see. You could always just fireball. Erstal now sounds like the bad guy at the end of the Die Hard emerging from the wreckage. Yeah, right. It's like, ah! And then they bang. It's a Christmas miracle. He can kill people again. Several drug gunslingers. Yeah, so yeah, right. Then there's this whole thing about Jarlaxle. Like, what's Jarlaxle up to? So maybe that's a freaking, you know. So then we got like, who wants the gold? And why is it a good idea to give it to them? Open Lord. Lariel, the Open Lord, wants it to give it back to the people it was taken from. She wants to give the damage back to... she wants to give the gold back and repair the damage that that her predecessor, Delt Neverember, did. Blackstaff wants the gold to bolster up the forces of Force Grey and the Grey Hands. Because bad things are coming. The Xanathar at this point, I think, is out of the picture. So is Zinterim. And so I never really had the Manchun. Jarlaxle. He wants it to become the Lord of Luskan and perhaps overthrow the Xanathar. That could be interesting. Cassalanters wanted to buy back the souls of their children from Asmodeus. So all of this, these are all secrets, really. So we're just going to jam these down in the secrets. I love that devil stuff. It's a lot of secrets, right? A lot of secrets going on. But we're closing in the end of the game, so it's probably time for secrets. I know, I'm finding not a lot of time to throw Jarlaxle in here, but I think it's time he introduced himself. He kind of shows up, and time I came honest with you. And he might be the one to tell him what's going on with the, what's going on with that. So anyway, I feel like I've got a pretty solid game going on today. Like I'm feeling confident, and that's what this prep is all about. Is feeling prepared for the game, and I feel prepared. I'll tell you, knowing where a game is going to start is really good. So when you're running an ongoing series, like knowing that like you're ending on a cliffhanger, like I ended on cliffhangers. I love ending on cliffhangers. I know that there's arguments about not ending on cliffhangers, but I love them. And one of the reasons why is because you know where it's going to start, and it's really solid, and everyone's excited to start. And also people are eager to come back. Like there's definitely something about leaving people hanging that makes people more eager to get back to the game and really get involved. They want to know what's going to happen. So I'm a fan. I like cliffhangers, but some people argue that cliffhangers, the problem with a cliffhanger is like if a character that, you don't know who's going to show up in the next game. Yeah, Evil John says that sound from the end of a session is great. Like, yeah, that's when you know you've got it. Like you have people on the edge of their seats. The argument against cliffhangers is you don't know who's going to be at the next game. And if somebody can't make it, they feel left out because it's like, man, you put my character in this spot and now I'm not going to be there. But I think that and that's a problem. It's a real problem. But, I think that, the advantage of the cliffhangers in that as a DM, it makes your life easy because you know where things are going to begin. And usually it's starting with a bang because it's at a cliffhanger, and and also the kind of keeping the players hooked in the game, I think offers a lot of advantages. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what's going on. So let's see. We got about 5 minutes left. If anybody, any interesting topics going on in the world of D&D that we want to talk about? Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out. If you have not played, it actually makes me want to play Divinity Original Sin 2 again because I really love that game. And so I was very happy to hear that there's going to be Baldur's Gate 3, and that it's done by the Divinity Original Sin people, because they know how to make really great RPGs. Like, I loved Divinity Original Sin 2. I hated the ending. I hated the last battle. I thought the last battle was just annoying. But I really loved the game. And in fact, I never really got good at it. Like, it's so deep and rich. I never really got good at it. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a really interesting game. So if you haven't played Divinity Original Sin 2, I don't know what it costs on Steam these days, but it's a good game. And the people, it would be, if you're jonesing, if you're like, oh man, I can't wait for Baldur's Gate 3, it's going to be awesome. Then and you wish you had it already, then I would recommend. Let's skip that. Let's see, Divinity Original Sin 2. I played it for 65 hours. I might download it and play it again because it was so much fun. Maybe I'll do that. We're just gonna install this game again. Stick that on my D drive. Disk space required. Disk space. Ooh, wow! My disk drive is full. What if I did it on my C drive? Man, both my drives are full. I'm gonna have to delete some stuff before I install that game. No thanks. I don't think you have to play 1 first. Divinity, I didn't finish 1. I barely got into 1, but I played 2 and I really liked it. So 2 starts on its own. Most of it is the story lore of the world, but they throw you right in the middle of it, so that's not a problem. It's really good. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3. I think that's gonna be fun. And I hope and I heard that it's going to be using 5e rules, and I was excited about that because one of the things I like about the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 games is that I understand what the math is behind the game. Like, I get that deleting those blue alley maps. Hey, look at you remembering my blue alley maps. I think it's actually all these old videos that I've got. I haven't deleted all the videos from previous recordings, and I bet that's filling up my hard drive. So I'll have to do. I got a little program that tells me where all my space is being used up. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh yeah, the fact that it uses 5e rules. Like, I want to know what the math is, and it's fun to see, like, oh, I know what a fireball does, and it does it correctly. And I think that probably game designers, video game designers, kind of like they want the math to work a certain way, or there's probably easier ways to do it, or God knows why, but they often play with it. But it's one of those things where, like, when I play. I played a little bit of I played it for a while. I forget the clicker game, the D&D clicker game, and it's like there's something about it when you see like Bruno or Battlehammer, and he's hitting somebody for 14 times 10 to the 27th damage, and you're like, Idle Champions, yeah, and you're like 14 times 10 to the 27th. That's no, that's what is that? That's not 14 damage. So yeah, I don't know, the exponential growth in games like that's a little out of hand. So I'm excited about that. Oh, my Beetle and Grimm set should be shipping soon. I have not yet received my shipping thing. They are still getting thrown out of the door, and I'm apparently lower on. I don't know why I'm lower on the list, but apparently I'm lower on the list. So I'm hoping that will ship next week, and I'm excited to use that for my Saltmarsh games. That's going to be exciting. And what else? Well, yeah, the Kickstarter, but I will be talking. So yeah, the last thing I'll leave you with in the last minute is I hope you will join me tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In fact, if you guys right now, since I've got you here, if you have any questions about Fantastic Adventures, Runes of the Grendel anything you want me to talk about or show, any parts of the game that you're not sure, the parts of the book or in my descriptions that you're unclear about, now is a great time to let me know, and then I will prepare those questions ahead of time for the show tonight. So if you are interested in Runes of the Grendel, let me, for funsies, let's just put that up real quick. Doot. Kickstarter. Oh, we're not going to sign in here. Don't look at that. Ink. We are funded, by the way. We funded a couple days ago, and we are just shy of $500 away from our first stretch goal. So, yeah, any questions that you have, please let me know. Oh, yeah. Mine won't be here. My set won't be here till Tuesday, and I'll be at Origins. Oh, no. Yeah, it's a bummer. This is Ruins of the Grendel Root. So, yeah, if you have any questions, any topics, any part of the game you want to hear about, I'm putting together kind of a list of the things that I think are important to talk about with this book and with this Kickstarter, why it matters, how it relates to one of the big things I'm going to spend some time on is how it relates to the steps in Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master and how I'm trying to use this book to do the heavy lifting for you when you're doing your own prep. So like you've seen me using published adventures. Let's put some nice picture up there. Just like you've seen me going through the steps and using published adventures to make my life easier, I try to use these adventures to make life easier. It includes secrets and clues. Now and I'll talk about this, but you'll probably have to add your own, of course. It has a strong start. I try to design these with a good strong start and a good hook. I use area aspects to make life easy. If you don't really want to read everything, I try real hard to make sure that you can absorb as much. Big one is I offer maps. These are all maps done by Elven Tower. I'm telling you everything I'm going to tell you later today. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can throw them into the chat right now, or hit me up on Twitter and ask any questions there, and ideally come to the show tonight and we'll talk all about it. So I'm hoping people will go there, and if not, it'll be me talking to myself. But that's okay. I can do that. Sorry, I'm admiring my own work. That's just egotistical. Is that purple ichor in this first one? Which one? Which one is the ichor? This guy. There's purple ichor here. There's this stuff. This corrupted material. Yeah, I'm hoping it looks good. I mean, I think it looks great, right? And we're really, I'm working really hard to make this as my goal, and I have a dirty trick. My goal is I want this to look as solid as a Kobold Press piece. And one of the ways I do that is by hiring the art director for Kobold Press and hiring one of the lead artists for Kobold Press. So, dirty little secret, little trick there. So Brian Syme did this piece of art, and Brian Syme does a lot of the art for Kobold Press. He did a lot of it in the Midgard books, and he did it for the Creature Codex and stuff like that. So I want it to be as solid as something like that, and then I have my own. I don't want it to be just like a Kobold Press product. I want it to look as good as one, and have the same kind of punch that those have. But then I have other design ideas that I wanted to throw in here as well, which I will talk about tonight. So I want to thank all of you for coming to the chat today. It is always a great pleasure of mine to do this show. I really enjoy it, and I wouldn't enjoy it nearly as much without you awesome folks coming into the chat to talk to me about it. So thank you all for your ideas. Thank you all for coming. And I will hopefully see some of you later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talking all about Ruins of the Grendel Root. So have a great week and go play some D&D.